I think one of maybe the bigger mismatches in this Super Bowl, in fact, I'm going to just say straight up, the biggest mismatch in this Super Bowl is going to be the Eagles' running game going up against the Chiefs' run defense. Just looking at this chart real quick, don't worry, we're not going to spend forever on a chart, just one chart, and then we'll get into the film. You see just how drastically different the numbers are in specific categories. The first one is EPA per play. So that's estimated points added per play. It's kind of this algorithm thing. A good stat, fun one to check out. The Eagles running EPA per play is first in football, whereas the Chiefs' run defense isn't bad, actually. It's fine, mediocre, right? Right at 16th in terms of EPA. And for success rate, which means, a positive play, Eagles have the highest success rate when they're running the football in football, whereas the Chiefs, again, top 10, you'll take that for sure, but, it's just not what you typically would want when you're going up against the best in football. Also, the PFF run grades. So for the Eagles, this is 11th, and what that means is actually running the football itself. So whoever the ball carrier on the running play, that's what that means is the 11th highest grade. But you see a little bit over to the right, their PFF run blocking grade is third best in football, and typically run blocking matters more than the guy who actually has the ball. Chiefs run defense PFF grade is 18th in football. So again, Chiefs, not a bad run defense. They're not a disaster out there or anything like that, but I'm not sure if I would call them good either, kind of mediocre. And you have the Eagles, which have the best running attack in football. This is a huge mismatch in the Super Bowl when everyone is pretty good at everything. Usually a team's weakness in this spot is going to be just mediocre. And you have a mediocre run defense, a great running attack. This could be bad news. Going over here, this is just what the Eagles do to people, is their offensive line is absolutely loaded, and this is how they can really come through in a big way in the Super Bowl potentially, is by being able to do stuff like this, where it's going to be, you see the blocking concept on the screen, and watch how when Hurts gives the ball to Sanders on this play, you see there's that running lane. I mean, everyone is winning their blocks, and it's really not a single play thing. It's a consistency thing. That's what allows this Eagles rushing attack to be so good. It's not just that they, occasionally get these really good blocks. It's how consistently everyone wins their one-on-one matchups that allows them to run the ball effectively. It's such a team sport, run defense is, and, running offense is, the running game in general, such a team sport. Being able to have just a bunch of guys who can play just gives them such a big impact. You see Sanders is going to be able to run and pick up a good chunk of yards on that play, and it's because of the great blocking in front, and also, it was a good run by Sanders as well. He's no slouch out there. I mean, I know, only 11th in, ball carriers there. That's still pretty good. Like, that's still above average, and when you factor on how good their run blocking is, definitely you'll take that. But going over here, what makes them just so deadly is the different ways they attack. Like something like this, where they're going to just straight up run block towards the left. The offensive line is simply basically running a decoy here. They're not going to impact this play other than selling as though they're going to impact this play. They're all going to block to the left, but then you have the ball carrier actually take the ball to the top of the screen. It's once again Sanders. If that Green Bay player reads this play quickly, runs over, and makes a tackle, this is going to be a massive tackle for a loss. The issue is that's just really hard to do when you have to focus so much on stopping the run in the other direction. Everyone's losing their one-on-one matchups, and then all of a sudden they throw something completely different at you, and you just have no idea that's happening. Watch as Hurts gives the ball to Sanders, and you see Sanders is able to pick up 8 yards on this play. Again, is it something that you're gonna go crazy about? No, but it was a good run, and being able to do this stuff consistently is maybe a key way they can beat the Chiefs, not only with being able to run the ball effectively, but hey, if they get up early in this game, you can now limit possessions, which is something we've seen them do really all season long. Is they get up get up at the half. Really, that second quarter has been so lethal by them, and then in the second half they just run out the clock, and they can do that so effectively and still score points while running out the clock, which is just what makes them so deadly. Of course, they have to take a lead in the Super Bowl to be able to do that, but Kansas City doesn't want to fall behind for that very reason, and just because you never want to fall behind. Like something like this is another example of just, again, something similar they do, which is going to be it's a run to the right side of the screen. This one not quite as similar as the last play in the sense of, they actually have offensive linemen blocking for the running back this time, but still, you're getting players to move outside the numbers. You're getting guys in open space potentially. Also, just to highlight, I'm circling two things right here, as there is a Green Bay player in the area who appears to be unblocked, but no, actually the center, Jason Kelce for Philadelphia, is pulling around. He will block him. I couldn't figure out how to show that on the graphic, but that's what's happening. Anyway, you see that Hurts gives the ball to Sanders. Sanders gets to the outside, and there actually is even, I don't want to say a missed block, but maybe not the best block from Kelce. Not one, not a highlight reel level block by any means. But no worries, Sanders was able to make a play. It was still, he got enough of him that they were able to pick up a decent chunk play there. Again, running backs do matter a little, right? I mean, how much do you want to say running backs matter? I don't know. I certainly would take the good offensive line over the good running back, but there still is some value there, and that's definitely something that, Philadelphia has on top of it. They don't just run block well. That's the main thing they do well. That's the reason why it works. But, there's other things. As for Kansas City, I do think about this as, they had a game this season where they went up against a really good rushing attack against San Francisco, and it went well for them. They won the football game, but it didn't go so well in stopping the run. That was kind of a weakness. And again, that's maybe, I think you could, look at two sides of the same coin a little bit here. And if you're an Eagles fan, you say, this is awesome, we have a great mismatch. I think if you're a Chiefs fan, you say, hey, plenty of teams have outrushed the other team and still lost the game. Yes, it's a mismatch, but it is a passing league. I think both teams will, if people will take both sides of that, and I understand both perspectives. But anyways, what's going to happen here, again, you see the blocking concept on the screen. Garoppolo is going to give the ball to Jeff Wilson here, and there's a running lane. Again, it was well blocked by San Francisco. San Francisco does this to teams. There's no shame in getting blocked well by San Francisco. But you know who else does this to teams? Philadelphia. And that's just why things are, maybe a little scary for Chiefs fans. As you see, Wilson gets through that gap, and he's able to pick up a 12-yard gain there. So again, this is something that, do I expect Philadelphia to be able to have success rushing the football? I do. I really do. And one other thing I haven't even talked about is the Jalen Hurts of it all. For one thing, he'll just run some designed runs. I especially think late in the game, like in the fourth quarter, they're going to run him a good amount, because at that point, if he gets injured, you have some time to recover, right? It's the Super Bowl. This is what you've dreamed your whole life of being able to play in. I'm sure he's not going to slide too much, although still, you don't want to hurt yourself even in this game, and just in general, hurting yourself's not fun. But anyways, this isn't even a designed run. This is a scramble, which is another way I think they could have success. It's going to be man coverage the Packers are in. The Chiefs will play some man coverage. It's going to be a blitz. The Chiefs will blitz. If you can get this situation, this could be a way that you can have success. Watch as Jalen Hurts is going to run a play action here, but when he doesn't love what he sees, he is able to get outside the pocket, and I've circled him right here. You look at where he's running, and he just has a ton of room to run. As you see, he is going to be able to pick up a ton of yards, and again, the ground game, however they end up getting it, could be absolutely huge for Philadelphia, and it does make me wonder if this is something that they're going to make a conscious effort of doing, and is it something that the Chiefs are going to make a conscious effort of stopping here? Because if you do put too much effort into stopping the run, well, now that gives A.J. Brown one-on-one matchups, and that's a concern that way. And for the Eagles, I think that's how you hope you win this game, is you get them in favorable situations, and, we say it's a passing league, well, then you're able to pass successfully because they only have one safety deep the whole game, and now A.J. Brown is getting one-on-ones on the outside. There is still value, even if we want to say, the running game not as important as it used to be, it's a passing league. There's still a ton of value in rushing the football, and you have to feel pretty good about this if you're an Eagles fan. So finally, this chart right here, this is going to be, just to describe what I'm doing. I did this kind of a variation of this last year, and it was fun, so I figured I'll do it again. It's kind of a way to recap how I'm feeling as I go through, and, again, no stone goes unturned in the preview for the Super Bowl, getting every little detail, but, what you're seeing on the screen, these are the videos I've made so far, and my score on a scale of 1 to 4 of how important I think it is for each video and each kind of mismatch. So for the Eagles offensive line, I gave the Eagles a +3 score. Their offensive line's very good, but Chris Jones should be able to do some stuff, so that took it from a 4, but still advantage Philadelphia. For the Chiefs offensive line, I gave it a +2 for the Chiefs. The Andrew Wiley situation is a little bit nervous for them, but I would still say that it's advantage Chiefs over Eagles defensive line, not because one's better than the other, but just one, there's a good offensive line and a good defensive line that typically favors the offensive line, but not as massively as I think it is on the other side. And as I said, I think the biggest mismatch, probably the only 4 out of 4 score I'm going to put here is the Eagles run. So as of right now, as the score stands, Philadelphia is +5, but that will change. There's going to be, probably a dozen of these things by the time I'm done with it. So it's kind of a fun way to keep track of how I feel about all these teams. But yeah, that's what I think about all this. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching. If you like movies, check out my movie review channel. Every single movie title you see on the screen, I have a video about coming out within the next 2 weeks. I'm uploading a video every day for 2 weeks, so definitely make sure you're subscribed there. The link is in the description below. I got some other stuff on there too, some like breakdowns of certain scenes I like and things like that, so check it out.